What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this afternoon. So what we're going to be covering in this update video is we're going to be going over exactly what was going on with Ortex today, the fact that we are not receiving any new data, and what the data is saying at this current time. We're going to be going over a little bit of options chain analysis because it is relevant to what we're seeing in terms of the price action on AMC this week and with what we could be seeing in the price action going into tomorrow. We're going to take a brief look at the institutional ownership changes. We're going to also touch on what exactly was the reaction to Adam Aron starting that sale of shares and what we're seeing in the market today and how I think this is incredibly bullish. Now, the two main important things that we're going to be getting into in this update video is this message that Ken Griffin kind of slipped to the APES yesterday in his interview. Now, some of the things that he has been saying over the last couple of weeks and months are very contradictory to the actual reality that we are seeing every single day. And the last thing is that shorts on AMC and GameStop are having massive problems. A lot of people are looking very microscopically at these 1 minute candles every single day and thinking, well, they're manipulating, they're winning, and we're not really going to get anywhere anytime soon. But the data that we're going to look at shows the exact opposite. And another statement that I want to make on this is that if these institutions that are short on AMC and have all of this money and potential power, if they were able to manipulate the stock the way that some people think that they can, the share price would never, ever, ever have gotten to this $40 range. Think about it. If the stock was trading sub 10, are these institutions just going to go out one day and be like, yep, let's just lose a bunch of money? I don't see that happening. And I still see us in the driver's seat and winning in this whole fight against market manipulation, over-leveraged short positions, and a variety of other things that are wrong with our market. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So at the current time that I'm recording, it is almost power hour. We are really trying to get over that $40 mark. Now, the $40 price point is slightly important for this week, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, when we think about the price action that we've seen so far on AMC today and what happened in after hours yesterday, the news of Adam Aron basically repositioning his shares to sell some of them from time to time really started to get circulated on these social media outlets and media outlets as a whole. What we saw was a steep decline in the share price. We hit a low of $36.35, but with what we've been talking about over the last couple of months since the last earnings call, not the one that just happened this week, but the previous one, is that we knew that these sales were coming. And when we think about market expectations and what the market prices into given stocks, this news should have already been priced in long ago, and that is what we are seeing today in the overall market. We are seeing some bullishness in the overall market due to maybe the bond market being closed, so the bond market can't really affect us all that much. But what I have to say to this is that's all you got. You could push it down in the after hours after this news kind of started to spread that we already knew about to try to spread some fear that institutions, retail, and shorts were piling in, but then the next day we're up 4.5%, crossing that $40 mark again. Again, this is another sign that we are winning. Now, when we come over to the Ortex update right here, it is Veterans Day, so shout out to all of the veterans. Thank you guys for your service. And the one effect that we are seeing on the market today is that since banks are not open, this is a non-settlement day, so we are not going to be receiving any new updates from Ortex. The estimated short interest is staying the same at 16.86%. Now, when looking at the options chain, nothing too crazy going into this week. Now, when we move over to AMC's actual option chain to look at it strike by strike, when we're looking for any given price levels where we could see a decent amount of delta hedging, we see a little bit at 40, a little bit at 42, but there's not really any of these crazy pileups this week or even next week to really send us to the upside in terms of that buying volume that we could see pushed in due to market makers delta hedging. And remember earlier when we talked about that $40 price point being pretty important? Well, the max pain for this week is at $40 a share. So that is going to be the price that the maximum amount of options contracts are expiring out of the money, essentially benefiting market makers the most. And we've been talking about this a lot over the last 2 weeks, especially going into earnings. Be very, very careful if you are trading options on AMC and if you are trading options in general. Options are incredibly risky, and they're a very easy way to lose a significant portion or all of the money you're putting into that trade very, very quickly. But again, there is also the potential to make a substantial amount of money too. So you really have to weigh the risk and reward and what is best for you and your portfolio. Then coming over to the institutional ownership percent changes, we're seeing $572 million of AMC has been bought versus only 1.92 million being sold. This is very, very bullish, and we still have those two key institutions in my mind, Vanguard and Renaissance, still needing to report their 13F filings so we can see what they've done with their positions over the last quarter. Now, let's get into this message that Ken Griffin has for the apes. When we come over to this transcript right here, the whole GameStop conspiracy theory, I mean, that's come and gone, said Griffin, revealing that he does not spend too much time on Reddit. Yeah, he has some market algorithms that really don't do a whole lot of great things to run. It was fascinating to be a center of that conspiracy. Asked what it felt like, Griffin dug in on both his detractors and a certain New York-based TV show. It was like a bad comedy joke, Griffin replied. It was like a Saturday Night Live sketch the whole time. Now, this first statement, I really want to dig into. The whole GameStop conspiracy theory, I mean, that's come and gone. Really? Has it? No, not at all. Do you know how we know this? One of the reasons why we know this is back in September, we saw Citadel go on an absolute Twitter rampage where we had apes continuously disproving all of these statements that Citadel has been making. And shout out to Lawyer of the Apes, I did see them tweet this out today, that there are still a lot of pending legal cases against Citadel, Robinhood, and those are not over yet. And we also see that the excitement around AMC's earnings, GameStop's earnings in these communities are stronger than ever, and Ken Griffin is coming out and saying, yeah, they left, they're not too much of a problem. You know what I have to say to that? Apes are not leaving. So if you guys want to drop an apes are not leaving down in the comments, that would be great to show your support for this cause. Now, the other thing that we really need to get into is another reason why we are winning. When we come over to this article that was recently released, we can see that GameStop and AMC short sellers lose more than $10 billion at this current time. So when we think about where we've come over this last year, I know there are a lot of people who are newer apes who have gotten in over the last couple of months, but you really need to think of this situation from a macroscopic perspective. Where have we come from and where are we going? We have come from those low $2 range, sub 5, sub 10, even sub 15, and we're now just cracking this $40 level, and the shorts are down horrendously. Now, when we think about that last price run up that we saw back in June, let's zoom out on this chart a little bit. A lot of shorts did enter in this range right here, this mid 50, so $50 to $60 a share. That is going to be the price that I'm going to need to see us really run up to and basically gain support in those levels in order to put even more pressure on those over-leveraged short institutions. The other thing we need to think about going forward is the trend we've seen with AMC and its price action after it reports their earnings. We are essentially right on track to start moving to the upside yet again. We've seen AMC in its Q2 earnings report sell off and then make its way back to the upside. We saw in its previous earnings report a slight sell-off and then it made its way up to the upside. Same thing here, and we are starting to see that trend. We saw a very significant red day after AMC reported its earnings. We saw a red day yesterday, and now we are bouncing back up into the green. So I would say that we are on a bullish track going forward. But again, there's going to be all of these other different market catalysts that could come into effect. Yesterday, it was that 30-year treasury auction that really kind of messed with the overall market, specifically tech stocks. But regardless of any of these other catalysts and setting those aside, AMC is set up very nicely for a nice run up going into the next couple of weeks. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. If you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, so you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, learn about a couple of new ones, and see exactly which options I'm trading and which strategies I'm using to trade them. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.